The vision for the chorus at the summer house here at Villa Gardens, it's number one to have a really fun experience for the residents and the staff and the volunteers that we are hoping to recruit.
Music is something that stays somewhere in the brain where people with dementia seem to be able to access it.
Music can trigger emotion and memories attached to it and bring the person to life in a way that we may not usually see them.
In the music and memory movement across the world, with personalized iPods, with things like the Giving Voice chorus, Music Mends Minds, all these things are popping up tied to music to try to engage residents and people in meaningful ways. The other larger goal is to lessen some of the stigma that comes with the word Alzheimer's and dementia and the fears that family members or just people in the community have.
A lot of residents just simply try to keep an arm's length away from summer house programs or anyone who has slid into dementia and is no longer living independently.
I think that this program will be very important in breaking down that stigma and creating a more accepting community in this particular senior living environment, and could be a wonderful model for other senior living communities to integrate residents who are cognitively healthy with those who are cognitively challenged and put us back all on the same human plane.
The community that I chose because they have a very good program already for people with dementia. And it would be different because it wasn't going to be utilizing the outside community, it was going to be happening on our retirement community. I looked for an expert to come and work with us.
My primary goal was twofold. Number one, to help those in attendance really understand what's happening in Alzheimer's disease and how the brain changes and the impact on the person, because oftentimes when that's not well understood, it's easy to say, oh, the person's acting in this way on purpose. But really, the reason the person is not communicating well or behaving in a different way is because there are changes in the brain that are impacting how the person perceives the world and how they relate to the world.
So I'm so glad to see you all here today. The whole idea is that we're not going to be perfect, but we're going to have fun. Okay? Is that okay with all of you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Some of the surprising things for me is when you find the right songs, they know them, and they know all the words, and a lot of them know all the verses, way more than I do.
I see some caregivers who cry when they see the residents they take care of singing.
And I've noticed that some people too that appear to be sleeping or they have their eyes closed, I take a closer look at them, and usually I see a foot moving or a finger moving. Sometimes I see their mouths moving, even if their eyes are closed. So they are engaging at a different level. But when a certain song comes on, they open their eyes and they're all about it. Marjorie is a fascinating lady.
She's the one to say, oh, quiet again. Oh, it's good. I like it. Oh, I love that, she says.
And she actually arrived Friday singing already. I could hear her coming down the hallway. The songs that we sing, not just any old thing.
It's incredible. It's something like touch your heart. Mm-hmm.
We have a mother-daughter team in there, and I know the daughter thought she knew just about everything she could know about her mother. But one of the songs that they were singing triggered something in the mother to turn to her and say, you know, I remember when I was this age and this is where we were and this is what I was doing. It was a story the daughter had never heard before.
My buddy Alice had 5 children. She went to Stanford and was very active in her community. She has difficulty even constructing a sentence. It's like she's struggling until the music starts.
She gets so much joy out of this program. She loves to sing, but she loves contact with people. So she's always got her hands out.
When we sing the upbeat songs, she wants to get up, and then one of the rehearsals, I took her hand and she stood up.
I really want you each to ring the bell and say, I haven't seen Summer House, I just kind of like to look around, and I'm part of the choir, and I get to sing with so-and-so.
I already see how it's changing the volunteers. Very often they spend time with me afterwards, sharing what's going on with their buddy or what they're seeing, and I see that they're animated and engaged and excited.
Just a nice feeling to know that somebody else is depending on you.
You come to realize that these people are worth spending time with, and there's more there if you give them a chance.
It's something we can give to them, but I'm getting just as much.
A lot of our buddies, I've learned, had relationships with specific residents that are now in Summer House, and they asked to buddy up with them.
I've known her so long, I knew her upstairs, so I wanted to be with her downstairs for the choir. I always called her the dancing feet lady whenever I saw her, because she was always dancing. On New Year's Eve, she would get up on the floor, she would dance by herself. If a man came by, she'd get him. If a lady came by, she'd get him. She danced all night. She never got off the floor.
One of our buddies grew up with one of the ladies who's in Summer House.
We had been friends for 64 years. And then after I moved in here, she lived here, and she was very active and everything, so we saw a lot of each other. We're on the same committees. Even at the very end, she was still smiling and happy. She passed away after about a month of the choir, and I was fortunate enough to see her and be with her daughter, just the day before.
Bridging that divide between an independent resident and people who live in Summer House, and inviting more interaction and more opportunities to connect, I think is very important, not only in this community, but in a lot of senior living communities.
I was really in denial about people who had some form of dementia or just the memory loss of old age.
We see our friends going through the different stages, and it's emotionally, it's very difficult. I say, you're yourself. You just be a friend to them. That's the important thing. There's something beyond just sitting staring at a wall at home, that there are programs and there are people like Bonnie who are presenting an opportunity for these people to do something with their life and participate. And so if it happens to me, I'm in the right place.
You'll find that a lot of these fears are allayed, and that it's fun, and that we sound great.
I see a lot of the other residents that aren't involved being curious enough to come up and observe. Some of them will come in and ask me some questions about it. Usually they'll come in and then they start singing. It's just contagious.
It's very exciting to see how, this one idea, has such a ripple effect.
We figured out we could do a performance during the holidays or right before the holidays. And now, after 3 months that we have enough songs, we said we could maybe do a mini concert so that we will be able to share the songs that we have learned and actually perform them.
To work towards a goal, not just as an individual, but as a group, I think is extremely important. And those are the things we've done throughout our lives that we don't always get to do once we start to have cognitive issues. Our musical director also works with a couple of different children's groups, and I was hoping at some point to find a group that we could engage with our group too.
I tell them a lot about my choir here at Villa Gardens, and they're so excited to meet them.
I can't wait to see what happens there.
So, without further ado, Joyful Hearts, are you ready? Yes! I'd like to present Joyful Hearts, This Is Us. 2, 3.